and welcome to this week's Excel Tip of the Week. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and we're going to talk a little bit about consolidating our data within Excel. In my Excel worksheet today, I have 4 separate spreadsheets that have been created. I've got spreadsheets for my North, South, East, and West division. So among these different spreadsheets, I also have different rows of data. You can see that in the North division, I have a professional services line, but that professional services line does not appear within the South division. In the East division, I've got an other line, and that doesn't appear in my West division or in any of my other sections. So I want to consolidate these 4 divisions into one total for my whole company. I've got a consolidate worksheet that I've set up, and right now it's blank. Some of you might be thinking, well, that's pretty easy. I could use a formula and I could link to each of the individual cells in the 4 worksheets. Absolutely, you could do that. And the thing you're going to have to pay attention to, though, is which worksheets have different rows of data. So Excel has built a tool for us called Consolidate that will take that into account and add up or combine all of the data according to some features we select. So the Consolidate function is located on the Data tab of your ribbon. It is located in the Data Tools section. And let's go ahead and select Consolidate. When the wizard pulls up, the wizard asks us first, what do we want to do? What is my function? As you can see, when we select the drop-down next to function, we can either sum up our data, we can count it, we can average it, or do a variety of things. Today I'm going to leave the function as sum. The next thing you'll see is that we have to indicate references. Those references then become the links to the data that we want to consolidate together. You can consolidate data within the same workbook on different worksheets, or you can consolidate data that is in different workbooks. Just be careful, if you are using different workbooks, make sure that you have all of those files open and ready to go before you launch the consolidate function. So I'm going to go ahead and select each of my divisions on their separate worksheets. In the reference area, I'm going to select the up arrow to do my selection. If I was opening a different workbook, I could use the browse option. So I'm going to open and select my reference. I'm going to choose the North division, and then I'm going to select all of the data in the North division. Once I've got it selected, I'll close my reference area, and then I will select Add in order to bring that reference into the Consolidate process. I'm going to repeat this 3 more times for each of my different worksheets. I'm going to select my reference area, select my South division, choose the data that I want to select in the South division and close my function. Choose Add to bring the South division in. Again, I'll do this now for the East division. Select my reference, select my East worksheet, select all of my data, close the reference, and add that to my consolidation. And finally, on my last reference, I'll select the reference option, choose the West worksheet, and you have probably noticed as I've been doing this, there has been suggested data ranges. Well, in each of these cases, I've had to kind of modify that a little bit because the data is slightly different within each of my 4 worksheets. I've selected the West data. I'm going to close my reference and select Add. Now, before we are done and can complete the consolidation, we want to make sure that we've got 2 other things reviewed and selected appropriately. The other things to review have to do with labels. Obviously, the worksheets that I've been working with have labels across the top and down the side. So in my case, I am going to select Use the labels that are in my top row and in my leftmost column. The final option is, do you want to create links to the source data? This allows your data to be automatically updated if you create those links. So I'm going to go ahead and create the link as well and select that option and choose OK. What you're going to see here, let me make it a little bit bigger so we can see all of our data. What you see here is that Excel has filled in all of the data. Notice it has appropriately added the row for other and appropriately added the row for professional services. So it consolidated the data for me very nicely and very quickly. One of the things you will notice on the left-hand side now are these plus signs. What Excel has done for us, it has actually grouped our data. I'm going to click on the number 2 here on the top left. And you'll notice that what that has done is it shows where the data has come from, the consolidation example. Now that is the name of my file, and it doesn't exactly tell us if it's coming from which worksheet, but we can see then what makes up each of the groups from each of my worksheets. Okay? You can see here when we get to Other, there was only one option, and Professional Services, there was only one option. I'm going to collapse that back down by selecting the number 1, and you can see then that my data is all consolidated and ready to use. One last thing I want to show you is how the data is linked. So let's take a look at the South area, the South worksheet that we had. And I'm going to come over here into the sales for the month of March. And I'm going to be very obvious. I'm going to make my change something like $500,000. Okay, so that was a very large increase for my data set. Once I select that option, let's go back to the consolidated data. You can now see that the month of March, the sales has gone up drastically. That has been a huge increase. Let me get my data to be a little bigger. There we go. And if I drill into the sales area just directly by clicking on the plus sign, you can see here that my $500,000 for the month of March is included. So that's how we use the consolidate function within Excel to automatically consolidate data across multiple worksheets or even workbooks.